This news program is proudly brought to you by
Smart Start Breakfast Biscuits
and Now Biscuits.
Prime Minister James Marape to attend One Forest Summit in Gabon, Africa. PM confirms that 3.5 million kina was not given to the ransom in Mount Bosavi. And 5 suspects in Medang arrested by police for marijuana cultivation. A very good evening. You're watching National EMTV News. I'm Godwin Eki. Thank you for joining us. Prime Minister James Marape has announced that he will be traveling starting today to Libreville in Gabon, Africa, to attend the One Forest Summit. He made the announcement today at the Manasupe House in the nation's capital.
Prime Minister Marape said Papua New Guinea, as one of the rainforest countries in the world, it is a privilege that he got the invitation to attend this summit on forestry and conservation matters that is of importance to our country's forestry economy.
Our rainforest plays a crucial role in maintaining the balance of our ecosystem. Our rainforest, globally speaking, is 1/3 of really undisturbed tropical rainforest. It's a huge global asset we have in our country. I'm traveling with the Minister for Forest and Minister for Environment to put to the global leadership correctly. And because the French President has invited me, I will be maintaining a very close rapport and relationship with him as a member of G7 nation, for him to be an advocate of Papua New Guinea forest conservation effort. You must pay for me to conserve our forests.
Marape announced that he will be a keynote speaker in the summit. He travels with forestry and environment conservation and climate change ministers.
Prime Minister is out, but the system of government remains functional. The system of government is not taken back when Prime Minister is out. The office of Prime Ministership remains in the country. The acting Prime Minister is functional. The Chief Secretary is functional. Ministers of State are at work. The bureaucracy is running. Works are being delivered as we speak. And even outside, we are always contacting and making sure that things are okay back home.
While Marape is out of the country, Deputy Prime Minister John Rosso would take on as acting Prime Minister.
Of course, our Deputy Prime Minister will still be acting once more. Just because I'm out of the country doesn't mean all work come to a standstill. In fact, I have...
Grace Papiali, National EMTV News.
Prime Minister James Marape has condemned in the strongest term possible the kidnapping of archaeologist Bryce Baker and his assistants by criminal elements of Fogumayu village in Mount Bosavi. Mr. Marape explained that the release of the hostages is just the first phase of the operation. Police are still on the ground and will carry out the second phase to see all these criminal elements be captured and face the full force of the law.
Yep.
When news of arrival of the hostages hit, the local media, including Australian High Commissioner John Phelps and New Zealand High Commissioner Philip Towler, all gathered at the APEC terminal to receive the professor and his 2 PNG assistants. At the airport also were anxious family members. When speaking to the media yesterday afternoon during the arrival of the 3 remaining hostages, Mr. Marape bluntly clarified this is just the beginning and police operations will continue into further apprehending the suspects involved in the kidnapping.
The first stage of the operation has been concluded. The second stage is simple. Those criminals, turn yourself into the hands of police, make it easy for yourself and the communities up there. Our police will still be in pursuit.
Marape has assured the families of Professor Baker and his 2 PNG assistants that justice will still be served.
Burundi has experienced that those 4 captives went through. It's a story that I don't want any event into the future, any French of Papua New Guinea or any Papua New Guineans to experience again. And so we will not rest. This is just the first phase of the operation. Second phase continues third phase continues.
More so, Police Commissioner David Manning did not fully disclose the nature of rescue operations. He said several attempts were made in negotiating until the final release yesterday morning.
An ongoing operation over the last 6 days. In the last 24 hours, we were able for police to continue to re-establish communication with those the captives through an intermediary, and we attempted yesterday to negotiate the safe release. That had some complications, so we attempted to again this morning, which we had some success. We had success.
Commissioner Manning further added that while they had the resources to attempt a rescue, to them the best way was to negotiate the release first before any force could be applied, resulting in the successful release of the remaining 3 hostages yesterday morning. When asked if a ransom was given for the release of the hostages, this was Police Commissioner David Manning's response.
There was a component that required some payment, yes.
Lindy Suharupa, National MTV News.
Meanwhile, Prime Minister James Marape cleared that 3.5 million kina was not given to the ransom that happened in Mount Bosavi. Instead, it was 100,000 kina.
Prime Minister James Marape, after revealing the nature of the ransom case, clarified the negotiation that was made.
There was no 3.5 million kina paid. There were liaison monies exchanged, far less, and I just want to be honest to the country, around 100,000 kina was shepherded in through community leaders for the liaisons to take place, but there was no 3.5 million kina. The demand was high. They maintained the demand right all the way through, but we had to break the ice.
He said there is no such need for such precedents to be set in the country.
And the entire full arsenal of government law implementations will run its course, and that's what we're doing right now. We don't want it to be a precedent into the future. The country must know there is no place for ransom.
He warned that law will take its course on anyone that does not abide by the law.
We don't want this sort of incident to happen in our country. Those who engage in crime, and kidnapping is the highest form of crime. Pirating and kidnapping, highest form of criminal offenses in our country. They will be dealt with very, very harshly. This must not be a precedent. It is important for us to bring those who held the hostage out into the hands of police and for them to face justice. And I just want to inform them once again, if you do not cooperate with police, police will still be out there hunting you no matter how long it takes.
Grace Papiali, National MTV News.
The government will soon build a road connecting Mount Bosavi to other neighboring provinces soon. This was alluded to by Prime Minister James Marape yesterday afternoon during the release of the hostages.
Situated in between the borders of Hela and Southern Highlands, Gulf and Western provinces respectively, Mount Bosavi sees very little to no government services. Mount Bosavi local level government president Daffy Mayo highlights some vital services that are lacking in the area.
Mount Bosavi is located in the very remote of Southern province with no access to road and other vital government services like education, health and others.
Prime Minister James Marape, in addressing the media yesterday afternoon during the release of the hostages at the APEC terminal, said his government is looking at building a road link in Bosavi soon. MTV News will keep you updated on this developing story.
Where it took place is still a dark space in our country in terms of no accessibility. We are trying to build a road into the Bosavi area. Bosavi is a rich endemic in terms of flora, fauna, species.
Lindy Suharupa, National MTV News.
National MTV News continues after the break. Stay with us. You're watching National EMTV News. Bank South Pacific delivers a record of 1.136 billion underlying profit for 2022 financial year, with BSP's statutory profit reducing to 1.081 billion kina once the impacts of the new PNG government taxes are applied. BSP's acting group CEO Ronesh Dayal presented the financial results this morning at the BSP Waigani head office.
According to BSP's Group Acting CEO, the result was impacted by the 190 million kina additional company tax and a one-off tax credit of 135 million kina. The tax credit comes after PNG banks closing deferred tax assets and liabilities for 2022 were remeasured at 45% in accordance with international accounting standards, given the PNG Commercial Bank tax rate increased from 30% to 45% in 2023. He says despite these challenges, BSP has posted a record 1.081 billion kina statutory net profit after tax, up 0.5% from the prior year net profit after tax of 1.075 billion kina. He also noted that the group's underlying net profit after tax was 1.136 billion kina excluding one-off tax impacts and represents a 5.7% increase on 2021 profits.
So we've continued to reduce our account fees and charges in 2022. And if we aggregate the quantum of fees and charges that we have given away since 2014, it equates to a massive 91 million kina per year.
When commenting on the key group highlights, Dale stated that improved economic conditions in the Pacific, with the reopening of borders and resumption of business activities, were the key drivers of the underlying result. Consequently, net interest income increased by 8.8%, foreign exchange income increased by 11.2%, and total loans increased by 4.6% to 15 billion kina. Maintaining a dividend payout ratio of 75%, BSP has declared 813.5 million kina in dividends to shareholders for 2022 financial year.
Shareholder returns, slide 30. So the board last week approved the final dividend payment of 1 kina 40 per share, which brings the total dividend payment for our shareholders out of 2022 profit to 1 kina 74 per share.
Mr. Dale added that BSP continues to be an attractive prospect for investment. BSP's dividend yield is 14.0% and 14.6% on the PNG-X and ASX respectively, which is a high-yielding asset compared to other stocks on both markets. Mr. Dale stated that the key focus in 2023 will be adapting to the tax rate increase to 45% on PNG commercial banks. The new BSP Group CEO, Mark Robinson, appreciates the leadership and the board for the incredible job in producing these results. He says these results show the commitment in running the bank professionally and taking advantage of opportunities.
These results reflect a steady commitment to run a bank professionally and take advantage of opportunities while serving your customers. And it's been a good year, but you can see this has been in the making.
Estagane, National EMTV News.
Work on the Highlands Highway road upgrade between Western Highlands and Chimbu provinces is progressing well. EMTV recently travelled the highway and observed road upgrade being done in Jiwaka as well.
Most parts along the Ave and Kuligap areas of Jiwaka province have seen all potholes patched and road paintings nearing completion. The deteriorated road in Simbu province, especially at Karawagi area, are also being fixed. Interestingly, this has resulted in a lot of vehicles, especially PMVs, travelling at very high speed. One of the dangers observed was the single-lane bridges. These are places where drivers have to slow down and give way to oncoming vehicles, according to traffic rules and signage. It is understood that there have been numerous reports of nasty accident along these parts of the Highlands Highway as vehicles collide on the single-lane bridges. The concern from drivers was that the single-lane bridges needed to be replaced with double-lane bridges. This is because with the improvements to the highway and the wider road, some new drivers thought they were double-lane bridges along the way and miscalculated their own speeds, leading to nasty accidents. Natasha Ovoy, National EMTV News.
5 suspects in the Raikos district in Medang have been arrested and locked up by the Medang police for cultivating marijuana. Police officers in Medang received complaints from village leaders of increased drug and homebrew production and consumption in the Guhu area in Saido LLG and travelled by sea to attend to the case.
The 5 male suspects were apprehended by officers of the Drugs and Ammunition and Water Police Division. The suspects were accused of cultivating marijuana and selling livestock in the area. Guhu Ward Councillor Degados said marijuana and homebrew production and consumption has drastically increased, not just in his ward area but all throughout the Saido LLG in Raikos district.
Arrestiman naman maskise koti masaji men nemas pilim pen loblo marijuana planeta mi plaza steretilo place olino pilim pen loblo marijuana ya olino face bloye mi plaza wokilo place o heavy emnara problem mi face mi plaza kisilo steretilo melenesen velo place osem olino face onem loblo marijuana na homebrew stop strong government wokimolino pilim.
The ward councillor called for more police presence in the district in order to curb production and consumption of marijuana and homebrew. The village leaders are planning to discuss with the district administration and the police in the province to have a police operation specifically to target and address the production and consumption of these illegal drugs. The suspects uprooted and removed the marijuana plants before the police arrived. They were brought into Medan late last night and were locked up at the Jomba police station. Amanda Ilaitia, National EMTV News.
2 people have been killed and several others sustained injuries following a clash between Sipik and Hela settlers in Medang. The fight broke out after youths from East Sipik living in Mero settlement went into a cattle ranch belonging to the Department of Agriculture and Livestock and killed 4 cows and wounded 2 others. This prompted the caretakers of the ranch, who were from Hela, to confront the people who harmed the cattle, which led to the fight.
Following the confrontation, a man from East Sipik was slashed on his right arm and leg and was rushed to the hospital but died soon after. In retaliation, the Sipik settlers put up a roadblock at the Mero Bridge along the North Coast Road. The settlers stopped a PMV bus travelling into Medang town and attacked an innocent man from Jiwaka, thinking he was from Hela. The victim was slashed in the head and chest. Police were quick to arrive on scene and remove the roadblock and prevented the fight from further escalating. Police officers met with both factions and appealed to them to not take matters into their own hands, but assist police with information so that the perpetrators can be apprehended and charged for their crimes. Relatives of the deceased man from East Sipik said he was not involved in the killing of the cattle and was innocent. Hence, they burnt a house and ransacked properties belonging to the relatives of those involved in killing the cattle in the first place. Police officers warned the parties involved not to further escalate the issue or disturb travelling public, but to come forward with information and assist with police investigations. Natasha Ovoy, National EMTV News.
Raikost Secondary School in Madang Province is overcrowded, but some students have insisted on staying on and have been causing inconvenience to the school's administration. This was according to board chairman of the school, Lemons Yom.
Yom says the school currently has over 50 students per class, hence is over the maximum required by the education department. He says due to full spaces, some students were turned away but refused to leave and are staying illegally in the school and causing inconveniences to other students and the administration.
Police, even all officers, make sure clear everything. Students say now participation and stuff. Same time only disturbing money have been students were registered only staff long mess all too only work nothing there.
Yom says drug and alcohol abuse is a big disciplinary issue in the school. Many students, including those who were denied enrollment, have been causing trouble at the school, and it is giving the school a hard time dealing with them. Ward Councillor Degado says the secondary school is the only higher institution in the district, and such issues must be addressed forthwith for the good of students in the district.
We ward member surrounding community, big highest institution, Raikost and just like secondary school.
Chairman Yom says the students who are causing trouble in the school will be asked to stop and vacate the school premises or will be dealt with by the police. Amanda Ilaitia, National EMTV News.
And taking a look at the Nest Fund market report, the Kina closed unchanged at $0.2840 US in the interbank market. At Bank South Pacific, Yokina was buying $0.2765 US, $0.4078 Australian dollars, $0.2548 euro, 37.28 Japanese yen. Looking at commodity prices at New York closed, gold is trading lower, coffee closed lower, cocoa closed lower, copra closed higher, palm oil closed lower, crude oil is trading lower, copper closed lower. On the stock market, the Dow Jones closed lower, the ASX 200 is trading lower, and the All Ordinaries is trading lower. National EMTV News continues after the break. Stay with us. You're watching National EMTV News. Moving to overseas news now, at least 59 migrants, including children, have drowned after their boat broke up in rough seas and sank off the southern coast of Italy.
In the Mediterranean. By daylight, this was all that was left of the migrant boat that broke up in rough seas just off the Calabrian coast. Rescue workers struggled in the conditions to recover bodies from the water. It's thought around 150 people were on board. Dozens, including a baby, are known to have drowned.
We cannot have, unfortunately, a definite number at the moment, so we are still waiting for developments in this sense. What we're doing right now is to take care of the survivors.
And around 80 people were brought ashore alive, among them migrants from Iran, Pakistan and Afghanistan. Despite the dangers, Italy is one of the main landing points for people trying to reach Europe in small boats. Almost 12,000 migrants have already arrived by sea in Italy this year. In 2022, more than 105,000 successfully made the crossing, with over 1,300 dead or missing. Although high, those numbers are way down on the 2016 peak, when there were over 180,000 arrivals by sea. The government blames people traffickers and has pledged to stop the boats. At the Vatican, Pope Francis expressed his sorrow for the latest loss of lives, which he said included many children. He said he was praying for the dead, the missing, and those who survived. And those survivors, like hundreds of thousands before them, face an uncertain future. Under the white sheets behind them, those who didn't make it.
Thousands of friends, family and fans had gathered to celebrate the life and legacy of Dame Olivia Newton-John at a state memorial in Melbourne.
Performers included her close friend Delta Goodrem, while guests paid tribute to Olivia Newton-John's significant contributions to music and pop culture, as well as cancer research and the environment. The singer and actor died in August last year. Speaking to a packed crowd, husband John Easterling recalled how lucky they felt to have found one another.
They had a botanical mixture. On order of magnitude, we thought maybe we should feel guilty because we were so happy. But we decided we'd feel gratitude and just let the happiness run it.
Fighting in eastern Ukraine is becoming increasingly fierce as Russia seeks to extend control of the Donbas region.
This town bears the scars of a bloody battle. Residents are left to live among the ruins. The city's defenders are still busy.
Here in Liman, it is constantly being shelled. It is collapsing even more. There is no infrastructure left here.
Russian troops and tanks broke through in May and began a brutal occupation. In September, after a fierce counter-offensive, Ukraine reclaimed the town, but the fighting never stopped.
Near Liman is one of the hottest points right now because Russia is trying to break through in order to control a critical highway.
Military medics are refuelling before they call to the front line, but they take a moment at their base to recognise the bravery of their battalion.
Фальчука Володимира Іван Романовича. Українському народу.
Вітаю, пишаюся.
We're hearing a lot of explosions right now. Fighting is going on not far from us. Our guys are on the front line and we wait for them to arrive. There is always a shortage of doctors in the army. Our men protect us and we must help them, treat them. There is no other option but to help.
What sort of injuries have you seen and have you lost many of your soldiers?
Even one is too many to die, and it's our young guys dying, 25, 27 years old. It's such a pity. Last week we had only wounded.
The scale of damage in this city is almost unbelievable. Everywhere you look, buildings have some sort of damage. And through the course of the day, you can feel that you're still close to the front line. The thunder of artillery in the distance almost never goes away.
You're watching National EMTV News. Trukai Sports is next. Stay with us.
Trukai Sports.
Welcome to Trukai Sports. The BSP Junior League softball competition will resume come Friday the 3rd of March after a weekend off due to the Corporate 7 slow pitch tournament held over the weekend.
Following the long weekend to observe the second anniversary of late Grand Chief Sir Michael Thomas Somare, the BSP Junior League softball competition took the weekend off as well. According to Port Moresby men's softball competition manager Constantine Bias, the tournament is set to resume this weekend. The competition is into its fourth weekend now and has witnessed a vast growing interest from children as they continue to register them.
BSP League Junior Softball Competition, we're into our fourth weekend. We're seeing a lot more kids registering in all divisions, and we should see it finished by the first weekend of April.
Another major reason as to why the games were postponed was due to the staging of the 2 days-long Corporate 7 slow pitch competition held at the Bicini Diamonds, where the BSP Junior League softball competition is usually staged.
It's going really well. We're having more kids coming through to register within all the divisions.
Despite these hiccups, the BSP Junior League softball competition is set and ready to be back in action this weekend. Lisa Puni, Trukai Sports.
The PNG Power Sparkies won the inaugural Corporate 7 Slow Pitch Grand Final Challenge 2023 against the Nesfan Team 1, 27 points to 22 yesterday at the Bicini Diamonds in Port Moresby.
Fair ending for both grand finalists, where both the PNG Power Sparkies and the Nesfan Team 1 showcased impressive ball handling and tricks. At the blow of the final hooter, the PNG Power Sparkies scooped the win 27 points to 22, defeating their opponents, the Nesfan Team 1. The pioneer champions of the 2023 Corporate 7's slow pitch competition, the PNG Power Sparkies, were presented the trophy, followed by the individual awards, which was presented to outstanding players in the following categories. Top Batter Award, which saw the PNG Power Sparkies Eli Paon bagging the medal, followed by the Top Infielder Award, which was claimed by Nesfan Team 1's Ronald Melly, while the Top Outfielder Award was again grabbed by PNG Power Sparkies through Wesley Manwai. And to wrap up the individual award presentation, the Most Valuable Player Award was presented to Kali Asi of Nesfan Team 1. With the participation of 6 teams seen throughout the inaugural competition of the Corporate 7's Slow Pitch Challenge over the weekend, the Port Moresby Men's Softball Association is looking forward to making this an annual event. Lisa Puni, Trukai Sports.
Trukai Sports continues after the break. Stay with us.
Trukai Sports.
You're watching Trukai Sports. The Hohola off-season rugby league competition, following its grand final round with a total of 16 participating teams, saw a fight break out between angry supporters at Hohola yesterday. The fight started when supporters of the two competing teams started arguing to a point where police had to get involved to stop the fight. It is believed that the police may have opened fire into the crowd, where one person was believed to have been shot. EMTV reached out to the president of Hohola off-season rugby league to get confirmation if or not one person was shot and to how the fight may have started, but were unsuccessful. We will continue to follow up on that story and keep you updated. The 2023 season of the Host Plus Cup for the SPPNG Hunters will kick off in 2 weeks. Head coach Stanley Teppen said the Hunters are ready and look forward to their first game. From playing their trial matches in Port Moresby against the intercity rugby league teams to doing more training in preparations of the 2023 season, the SPPNG Hunters will play their first Host Plus Cup match in the Queensland Rugby League in 2 weeks. Only last weekend, ahead of their 2023 season, for the first time, the SPPNG Hunters played their first trial match against one of the top teams in the Queensland Host Plus Cup, the Central Queensland Capras, in Port Moresby at the Santos National Football Stadium. Despite their loss against the Central Queensland Capras, Hunters now in the next 2 weeks have to quickly work on their weak areas back in Australia ahead of their first match in the Host Plus Cup tournament in Queensland. Meanwhile, to kickstart their 2023 season, the SPPNG Hunters will play their first match of the season on Sunday, the 12th of March 2023, as the Hunters take on the Western Clydesdales. Trukai Sports ends on that note. Stay with us.
Trukai Sports. True Kai Sports.
This weather update is proudly brought to you by MoneyPlus, with you always.
Weather forecast for the next 24 hours. Southern region, Port Moresby, possible few showers and thunderstorm. Daru, some squally showers and thunderstorm. Kerema, partly cloudy with few showers. Alatau, cloudy periods with some squally showers and possible thunderstorm. Popondetta, few showers and possible thunderstorm. In the Momase region, Ley, cloudy periods with brief showers. Medang, partly cloudy with few showers. Wewak, cloudy periods with few showers. Vanimo, cloudy periods with few showers and possible thunderstorm. In the New Guinea Islands region, Lorengau, partly cloudy with few showers. Kavieng, possible brief showers. Kokopo and Rabaul, possible brief showers. Kimbe, cloudy periods with few showers and possible thunderstorm. Buka, possible brief showers. In the Highlands region, Mount Hagen, partly cloudy with few showers. Goroka and Kundiawa, partly cloudy with possible brief showers. Mendi and Wabeg, partly cloudy with few showers. Waters of southern PNG Indonesian border through Daru to Kiwai Islands to Kerema to Yule Island to Hood Point to Samarai Islands seas 1.5 to 2.5 meters. Waters of Samarai Island to Cape Vogel and Old Millen Bay Islands seas 1.5 to 2.5 meters. Waters north of Cape Vogel to Ewan Gulf to Finschhafen seas 0.5 to 1.3 meters. Waters of Finschhafen through Vitis Dampier Straits to Siasi and Long Islands to Karkar Island seas 1.5 to 2.5 meters. Waters north of Long Island to Medang to Wewak to Vanimo and northern PNG Indonesian border seas 1 to 2 meters. Waters of Manus and its western group of islands seas 0.5 to 1.3 meters. Waters of New Island to New Britain and Bougainville seas 0.5 to 1.5 meters. Ocean forecast: Coral Sea seas rough to very rough west to northwest winds of 20 to 34 knots. Solomon Sea seas moderate to rather rough, northwest of 15 to 25 knots. Bismarck Sea seas moderate to rather rough, northwest winds of 15 to 25 knots. And Pacific Ocean seas smooth to slight west to northwest winds of 5 to 15 knots.
The weather update was proudly brought to you by MoneyPlus, with you always.
And that wraps up the news, sports and weather for Monday, the 27th of February 2023. From the entire news team, pleasant viewing. Bye for now.
This news program was proudly brought to you by Smart Start Breakfast Biscuits and Gold Nuggets.